Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a concept that could fundamentally change how you view your life. We're going to explore the idea that the time crunch we all complain about is largely a myth. We've all said it, I don't have time. But what if that's a lie we tell ourselves? What if you have a massive untapped resource of time just waiting for you to use it? This isn't about some new productivity app or a 5-minute hack. It's a total philosophical shift. And it all starts with a simple number, 168. That's the number of hours in a single week. Think about it. 1 week, 168 hours. It sounds like a lot, right? And author Laura Vanderkam, in her eye-opening book 168 Hours You Have More Time Than You Think, argues that this number is the key to unlocking the life we truly want. The book's central thesis is a powerful one. The reason we feel perpetually busy isn't because we lack time, but because we lack intentionality in how we spend it. We're just not making conscious choices about our hours. Vanderkam challenges the pervasive time crunch narrative that has taken over our culture, particularly for working parents. We've become a society that wears busyness like a badge of honor. We tell people we're overworked, we're sleep-deprived, and we're pulled in a million different directions. But this constant narrative of busyness often serves as a convenient excuse for not pursuing the things we truly want to do, whether that's starting a new hobby, learning a new skill, or just spending quality time with our families. It's easy to feel this way. The Harvard Business Review once ran a story about extreme jobs, where a 60-hour workweek was considered part-time. But when you dig into the data, the story changes dramatically. The surprising truth about how we spend our time. One of the most fascinating parts of Vanderkam's work is her reliance on time diary studies, like the American Time Use Survey. These studies ask thousands of people to meticulously record what they do every few minutes over a 24-hour period, much like a lawyer billing their time. And what these studies reveal is shocking. We are, in a word, liars. We lie to pollsters, and more importantly, we lie to ourselves. We overestimate work. We tend to inflate the number of hours we work to seem more dedicated and important. Time diary studies show that the average full-time worker blocks somewhere between 35 and 43 hours a week. That's a far cry from the 70-hour work weeks we often hear about. In fact, people who claim to work over 75 hours a week are usually logging around 55. We underestimate leisure. We often feel like we have no free time, but the reality is quite different. The average person watches more than 20 hours of TV a week. That's a part-time job. Yet when asked in surveys, people claim to have far less leisure time. We're so focused on the feeling of being busy that we don't even recognize our own downtime. We overestimate housework. We feel like we're constantly doing chores, but time diary studies reveal we spend far less time on housework than we think we do. We'll get into this more later. But the time spent on cleaning, cooking, and laundry has dropped significantly over the past couple of decades, even with the rise of two-income households. This disconnect between perception and reality is what fuels our feeling of time poor. The hours disappear not because we're working nonstop, but because we're frittering them away on low-satisfaction, low-impact activities like endless TV or mindlessly surfing the internet. This is time that could be spent on things that truly bring us joy. The Core Competencies Framework, a business strategy for your life. So how do we take back control? Vanderkam suggests we adopt a concept from the business world, core competencies. In business, a company's core competency is what it does better than anyone else. It's the thing that provides value to customers and is difficult for competitors to imitate. Successful companies focus on their core competencies and outsource the rest. Vanderkam argues we should apply the same logic to our lives. Our personal core competencies are the unique skills and passions that we love, excel at, and that no one else can do quite as well as we can. This isn't just for your career. It applies to your entire life. Take, for example, Nobel Prize-winning chemist Roald Hoffmann. He's a brilliant scientist, but he's also a poet. He leveraged his core competency of being a watcher and a patient observer across both fields. He realized that while he was a good chemist, he also had a passion for poetry and a unique way of seeing the world. So he made time for both. He focused on what he was great at and what he loved rather than trying to be a real doctor like his parents wanted. In our personal lives, nurturing our family and friends is a core competency. No one can be a better parent or partner to your specific family than you can. But ironing an electric blanket, a chore that was actually recommended in a 1958 issue of Good Housewifing, that's probably not a core competency. A cleaning service, a laundry service, or even just letting go of that task entirely might be a better use of your time. This framework leads to a powerful and sometimes uncomfortable question. Are you spending precious hours on low-value tasks when that time could be better spent on meaningful pursuits like playing with your kids, building a business, or finally learning to play the flute? The right job. It's not about working less, it's about loving what you do. For many people, the idea of having more time immediately leads to a desire to work less, but Vanderkam presents a different view. The goal isn't a 4-hour work week, but a life filled with work you genuinely love. She argues that being in the right job is the most crucial step to effective time management. Why? Because we spend a significant chunk of our 168 hours working. If you're in a job you hate, those hours are wasted, and you're left with a sense of dread that spills over into the rest of your life. A right job isn't just about the title or the paycheck. According to research cited in the book, it's a job that taps into intrinsic motivation. You enjoy the work for its own sake, not just for the money or fame it brings. Offers autonomy. You have the freedom to decide how and when you do your work. Provides a sufficient challenge. The work is difficult but doable, putting you in a state of flow where you're so absorbed you lose track of time. Happy, passionate people are also more productive and creative. They set higher goals, persist at difficult tasks longer, and are more likely to have carry-over creativity from a good day to the next. This creates a virtuous cycle. Loving your work makes you better at it, and being better at it makes you love it more. The book shares the story of Lisa Men, a linguist who was a Westinghouse Science Talent Search finalist in 1958. She was fascinated with how children learn to speak, but faced pressure to go into a hard science. When she became a mother, she used the hours she spent with her own children to study their language development. She turned a personal obstacle, the lack of money for babysitters, into an opportunity that changed her field. If your current job doesn't meet these criteria, the answer isn't to just quit. The challenge is to become an entrepreneur of your own career. Even if you work for someone else, you can take an active role in shaping your job, finding ways to align your personal passions with your professional responsibilities. The key is to start asking what you can do to make your job the right job for you.
Don't do your own laundry. The new home economics. The conversation around time management often focuses on work, but Vanderkam dedicates a significant part of her book to our home lives. She introduces the concept of the new home economics. Looking back at the 1960s, women were often full-time homemakers, and they spent a staggering amount of time on household chores, about 34.5 hours a week. This was a time when a recipe for a cake could be a 2-day ordeal, and a magazine article would tell you how to properly iron an electric blanket. But as more women entered the workforce, something had to give. As a society, we didn't just stop doing chores, we dramatically lowered our standards. Instead of spending hours meticulously cleaning blinds, we now have quick cleaning sprays. We stopped sewing our children's clothes because factory-made clothes are cheap and plentiful. Here's the incredible part. At the same time, parents actually started spending more time with their children. We traded low-value, labor-intensive tasks for high-value interactions. This is the new home economics in action. Prioritizing our core competencies as parents, like reading to our kids, playing with them, and building meaningful memories, over non-core competencies, like scrubbing the baseboards. This is where outsourcing comes in. The book encourages us to don't do your own laundry literally. The story of Sid Savara, a software developer who outsourced his cooking and laundry, perfectly illustrates this. He didn't have to be a millionaire to do it. He realized that the time and mental energy he spent on these chores were worth more to him than the money it cost to pay someone else to do them. In fact, by saving time and avoiding impulse buys at the grocery store, he sometimes even saved money. Outsourcing low-value chores frees up time for what truly matters: family, friends, hobbies, and a vibrant life. A clean house is great, but getting your weekend back is priceless. A full life. Being intentional with your leisure time. So you've taken control of your work life and your home life. You've identified your core competencies and ditched the rest. But what about all that newfound free time? Vanderkam argues that we need to be as intentional with our leisure time as we are with our work. Just as the business leaders at a high-profile conference might look uncharacteristically disheveled in their casual clothes, we often look similarly lost when faced with unstructured leisure time. The default for many is to turn on the TV. But as a time diary study revealed, television ranks pretty low on the scale of activities that bring us happiness. It's a frictionless way to pass the time, but it doesn't rejuvenate us in the same way that exercising, socializing with friends, or engaging in a hobby does. A powerful alternative is to plan your leisure. This isn't about overscheduling every minute, but about consciously deciding what activities bring you the most joy. Focus on a few key activities. Choose 1 to 3 things that truly matter to you, whether it's running, singing in a choir, or volunteering. Create a block schedule. Just like you would for an important work meeting, schedule these activities into your week. Align your time. Multitask effectively by combining activities that use different parts of your brain. Go for a run with a friend or listen to an audiobook while you commute. The story of Alexi Panos, a model who co-founded a nonprofit called EPIC to build wells in Tanzania, is a perfect example of this. She doesn't have endless free time, but she carves out a single hour each morning for her nonprofit work before the distractions of her day job. Her vacations aren't just for lounging on a beach. She spends them in Tanzanian slums, getting a deep sense of purpose. By being intentional with our leisure time, we can create a life that feels truly full, rather than just full of things to do. We can go from being passive consumers of our downtime to active creators of a meaningful life. The hard work of having it all. The final chapter of the book, The Hard Work of Having It All, brings all these concepts together in a practical, step-by-step process for a time makeover. It's a powerful call to action, but it's not presented as a simple, easy solution. The book shares the story of Catherine Beaumont Murphy, a new lawyer and mother who felt overwhelmed and panicked. Her time log revealed that she was, in fact, doing a lot right. She was sleeping enough, exercising regularly, and reading a lot. But she felt like she was constantly falling behind. The time makeover process she followed is one we can all use. Log your time. The first step is to face the facts. Keep a time log for 168 consecutive hours to see where your time is actually going, not where you think it is. Create a list of 100 dreams. This is an exercise to uncover what you truly want to do with your life, both big and small. This list is your roadmap. Identify your core competencies. Determine what you do best and love most in both your personal and professional life. Start with a blank slate. Mentally wipe your schedule clean and recognize that every minute is a choice. Fill in with core competencies. Intentionally schedule blocks of time for work, family, and leisure activities that align with your values and dreams. Ignore, minimize, or outsource the rest. Get rid of the low-impact tasks that don't serve your goals, whether that's unnecessary meetings or laundry. Fill bits of time with bits of joy. Take advantage of small moments, a commute, a coffee break, for meaningful activities. The journey to having a full and fulfilling life isn't about finding a mythical extra hour in the day. It's about recognizing the 168 hours we already have and making conscious, intentional choices about how we use them. The truth is, there is time for anything that truly matters to you. So the next time you feel that familiar time crunch, ask yourself this: what's holding you back from living the life you want? Is it a lack of time or a lack of intentionality?